And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and off to the races we go, as the old saying goes. It's 6:30 already, 72 right now as we wait for a high a little bit later today. Warm, 88. And I know I got a heater on behind me, but somebody left the air on, and it's like 20 in here. Couldn't handle it. Good morning. I do hope you're feeling well, and your day has started off to a good start. We'll get all this going today. Up and coming, we've got all the headlines of the local things that's happened in the last 24 hours. Join us at 7 o'clock. You don't want to miss all of that. We'll look at a few of the headlines across America this morning. Lots of things going on there in New York, isn't it? Also, as we look at this, now, if you look at the forecast, it tells us it's not really a big chance of rain. But off in the distance there tonight, this evening, is a chance of severe weather sort of to the northwest of the Meridian area. Let's pull this up and look at this before we get into other things today, so you'll kind of get a handle of what is up and coming. As we look at weather, let's back out and look at this as you look at the nation of what is forecasted for today. Now, there's pretty horrible weather up in this direction here. Jackson, Tennessee, all the way up into Fort Wayne, Indiana, Saginaw, Michigan. That's a level 3. As you get down to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, a level 2, Tupelo, a level 2, even back down to Lufkin, Texas. As we zoom in on this a little bit closer and get a closer look at what's happening to us, north of Kosciuszko, north of West Point is going to be that level 2. As we look at this, and again, this will be late in the afternoon, the Meridian area really doesn't have anything. The northwest corner of Lauderdale County included in this level 1. Most of Kemper County, all of Philadelphia, back over to Walnut Grove and Forest, and also Newton, Mississippi, and a little bit around Bay Springs in that area, level 1. That will be late this afternoon and into tonight. These evening hours is what's being forecasted there. Again, it's a level 1. We could see some heavy rain involved with this and some wind. We'll watch this and be here behind the scenes, and if it need be, we'll go live to track these storms as it comes across. Hopefully, it'll stay north and way away from my area. We'll let you know all that's coming up. All right, let's go out to Collinsville, get a good word this morning. See what Brother Ben has got to say.
Has anybody ever told you that if you just put your faith in Jesus Christ, you'll be blessed with health, wealth, prosperity, and favor in this life? I'm afraid that whoever told you that's kind of like the used car salesman of Christianity. They just told you what you wanted to hear and not the truth. You see, Jesus painted a very different picture in Matthew 24. He said that people will deliver followers of Christ up to tribulation and put them to death, and that we'll be hated by all the nations for His name's sake, especially as the end of this age draws near. Does that sound like health and wealth, prosperity and favor to you? Beloved, if they crucified Christ, what will they do to us? No, following Jesus is often very costly, but never forget this, as Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians 4, this momentary affliction is preparing us for an eternal way to glory beyond all comparison. Yeah, the costs are heavy, but the benefits are heavier. They're weightier, they're better and bigger, and the glory is more abundant than the grief could ever be. So may you follow Jesus no matter the difficulty, because the greater reward is just over the horizon. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Brother Ben always does a great job with that, doesn't he? Visit them tonight. They'll have church service tonight. It's Wednesday. They'll do that all again coming up on Sunday morning. A great place to go to church if you don't have a place. Friendly folks. I know a whole bunch of folks who go to church there. Well, as we look at a few of the headlines across America today, things could be changing in Wisconsin. And we get into the Supreme Court of Wisconsin. And a vote that happened, it looks as though this is going to start leaning a little bit more liberal, as a liberal Democrat has won the justice spot on that, which will now take it 4-3 if you were to balance things out. What does this mean? It could mean the change of the abortion law in Wisconsin. We'll see and watch this closely. Over 300 LAPD officers are getting ready to sue. So, well, why would 300 of them want to sue the city? A little bit more serious than that, a watchdog group has posted all of their pictures. They're undercover cops. What does this mean? Their lives is what that means. We'll watch this closely behind the scenes, and when we know more about it, we'll let you know. A serious thing. There are, trust me, all across the United States undercover, and they do not need that blown, do they? Kansas. This is one of the first I've seen. There may be more. Y'all correct me if you know about this, but this is the first that has caught my eye in headlines across America as we see this. Kansas has passed a bill forcing residents to use the bathroom of the sex that they were born with. Kansas. Again, let me repeat that. Whatever you were born as is the bathroom that you must use. Now, number one, it's a sad state that we got to pass a law to even make that work, isn't it? We're seeing a lot of things in America these days that are way different that never in my lifetime did I think I would see. Kansas is a place that's done that. We'll see if Mississippi and the Deep South has to do this. Hadn't been a big issue here, but you never know what happens elsewhere eventually makes its way here. As we look at Chicago, what is going on there? Well, they got a new mayor. Lori Lightfoot, I believe was her name, is out. Drove the city down. This guy beat out a guy that was backed by the police union. Beat him by 13,000 votes. He's already proposed raising $80 million to tax the city's wealthiest. Well, I don't know what to say about that. Chicago does need a turnaround. Is he the man? I'm not quite sure. We'll also get into what's going on in New York City this morning on the morning show, what's happening with former President Donald Trump as he faces these charges that's out there. Most folks say that it's bogus. It's the lightest things that you could be charged with. They know it wouldn't stick, but they went ahead with it anyway. I don't know all the answers to that. What's your opinion of it? But we'll touch base on that this morning of what we know of what the headlines are this morning going across America about all of this. Put a smile on. We'll get things going here in just a moment.
Hello, my name's Kenneth Graham, and I'm running for coroner of Lauderdale County. For over 50 years, Lauderdale County's been represented by professional and competent coroners. I would like to continue that tradition. Over the next several months, I want to educate the public on what the coroner does and dispel any myths about the coroner job. I can show you that I will be the most professional coroner there is. So please vote for me August the 8th.
Paid for by the Committee for the Election of Kenneth Graham. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
That forecast, as we go back and look at 1988, was a hot day and really not much difference from today. We're expecting around 87, 88. The record high was 91, set back in 88. As we move forward, the coldest day was the year before that. In 1987, it was 29 degrees on this date. My, time flies and gets away from us, doesn't it? As we look at the skies today, 87 in the Meridian. As you'll see here, here's that line that we looked at on the severe weather. And we'll show it again in a moment. This is where the severe weather is expected. We have a level 1 all the way through, well, portions of Kemper County and right across there. High of 87 in the Meridian area, 87 Columbus. We should see somewhere around 86 at Mississippi State and to the south, Natchez, 85. A little warmer as you get toward the coast. As we look to Alabama this morning, 88 in Demopolis, even warmer in Montgomery. We should see around 87 there in Livingston, Alabama this morning. As we look to that severe forecast, and again, this is it. Now, if you look at the forecast and it tells you 10% chance of rain today, it's pretty much right. It's going to be a cloudy day, and as we get into those late evening hours is where we will start seeing this rain move into these areas. Again, the Mississippi Delta, Greenwood, Eupora, all these areas from Vicksburg north is going to be a level 2. From Philadelphia and taking in Scooba, and just a slight portion cutting across northwestern Lauderdale County falls under this. Now, all of Newton County, Neshoba, as we get into northwest corner of Jasper and Scott counties, will be under this level 1. Again, we'll be here behind the scenes monitoring it. If it gets bad, we'll go on to let you know exactly what's happening with it. It does say that we could get hail 60-mile-an-hour gust, and we'll look at what that is going to do. And a tornado cannot be ruled out. We are into that springtime bad weather. What happens with all of this? Again, we're right here at marginal. Now, as we look at the strong winds for today, mostly the Mississippi Delta is going to have these. They're going to have wind gusts of sustained winds of 20, 25, gust of up to 30 to 40. Now, our forecast is calling them a gust up to 35. Woohoo! Flash flooding beginning tomorrow all the way through Friday. So be ready for this. Keep an umbrella very close to you, because from today moving forward all the way through Saturday night, rain in the forecast. That's bad, isn't it? As we jump ahead, Alabama showing that Hamilton, Alabama area could see a level 1. The rest of it, Demopolis, looks good for today. Heat wave, as we look at this across the United States, only back here in Northern California is there a cooler spell up there through Washington State. As we look at the closer detail forecast from Wilson Saw and Outdoor, what does it tell us? 88 today. They're giving it a 20% chance there on our radar system. As we look to tomorrow, 70% chance of showers, 70% chance on Friday, 60% chance on Saturday. And by Sunday, as we go to church, it starts changing with a 10% chance of raining back to work, remaining that way. Those temperatures climbing steadily back up after the rain quits. Sunday, 70, 76 on Monday, and then back to 82 by Tuesday. So there will be periods here when you get wet on Friday and Saturday where it's a little nippy there. Mid-60s, but damp. That makes it cool to you. Now, as we go all the way through April the 19th, look at this. I'm seeing 90-degree weather already mentioned in April. We'll see that on the 15th, about halfway through the month. Even through there around the 18th. Don't rule out some 90-degree weather there either. But not a bad-looking month. As we look ahead here, let's see. Wednesday, best fishing times brought to you by Chet. He tells us today the best time is going to be high noon. Go out and sit around to about, say a quarter after 2, and the fish should be biting. We wish you luck with that. Get you a cork and go out, can of worms, and have the time of your life. Time kind of stands still when you do things like that are fun. If you've never been fishing, I highly suggest it. Try it one day. Watch you a cork. It's fun. It truly is. As we get ready, Odie's already in the house. He's getting ready for the show. He's going through what's going on his side of the world over here. I've got a few things. And boy, we've had some burglaries. Anybody know about this? Anybody read the headlines from yesterday? We're going to give you the details of this, of what happened in Meridian yesterday. People constantly want to take what's not theirs. It's not right. This is not Robin Hood days. If you didn't work for it, it's not yours. We'll tell you all about that and some of the other things that have gone on over the last 24 hours. It all begins at 7 o'clock, and we cannot do it without you. Benjamin Moore, how are you feeling today? Good to see you. There's Katrina. She's up today. Nick Dial, good to see you. Jeremiah Johnson joining us also. Robin Sullivan, a few of the folks that I see that's up this morning. Markeisha Wells, did I pronounce that right? How are you? Glad to see you there. As we see here, Dawn and Dawn Harlan, how are you? Richard Nelson, good to see you, my friend. Also, Jerome Lee is up stirring today, getting himself some coffee there in Collinsville. Again, we start in roughly 15 minutes. We'll have the morning show coming your way live here at Facebook, YouTube, and then we'll be back as well on television where you can interact through all the social media platforms. Look to see you then. We'll be right back.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: